Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show. My name is Leon Jones. This morning's topic: men in the middle always get caught up by the 80-20 rule. Men in the middle always get caught up by the 80-20 rule. Now, what do I mean by the 80-20 rule? It means 80% of the females, when it comes to dating, want 20% of the men. Now, where are these 20% of men? Well, I'm going to break it down because I like to use objective or the balance theory. I'm going to say 10% of the men are at the top. They're your rich guys, and the other 10% are at the bottom. They're the individuals that you would consider your bad boys. Now, why is this so significant? Well, these are the individuals who are basically on television, and they bring you the alpha and the beta attitudes all in one. Now, when you are the middleman, and that's the majority of us, I'm a middleman. We're the guys who are not your millionaires. We're not even your high thousandaires. We're like the lower thousandaires. We're making between 5 figures and probably the low 6 figures. I'm talking about the $50,000 to maybe $150,000 range, but we're considered square. Why? Well, because we're the guys who have to get up and go to work every day, and we do the majority of the work. We don't have businesses for the most part, and if we do have businesses, our businesses are based on serving everybody who is everyday citizens. But when it comes to society, society has always taught men that we have to go to work to make money to get women. But when it comes to women, whether they are of today and of yesterday, women have only been taught to think 2 ways or 2 options. Well, they want the guy at the bottom, the bad boy, because it can basically control that guy. The guy at the bottom is the one who's actually living with her. She's providing him with all the money. She's shaming him to tell him how much of a dirtbag or a bum he is. She's telling him he's irresponsible, and she's always at odds with this guy. But she wants this guy because this guy will do anything for her. He's basically an alpha male, but an alpha simp. That's what he is. He'll, on one hand, when he tells her or when she tells him to do something, he's going to do it because he wants to appease her. But then you got the guy at the top who's making all the money. Well, she wants him because he's basically going to enhance her lifestyle by manipulating him into giving her his resources. And a number of men do that. This is why you have some of your unattractive men with money with trophy wives. And at the end of the day, these trophy wives divorce some of these high, powerful men, and they get their money. But at the end of the day, what generally happens is when you are the middleman, a woman sees you as a threat. Now, why does she see you as a threat? Because on one hand, if you are doing everything that you're supposed to do, such as taking care of your responsibilities, which includes paying your bills on time, you keep your house clean, you have a job, you have an education, and the job that you have could be the blue collar or white collar work, well, she doesn't want to deal with that kind of guy because you can't control that guy. And then you can't get that guy's money. You actually have to have something to bring to the table. In fact, that's in one of my rules of dating. If you check that 4-video series out, well, these women don't have anything to bring to the table but their body. And they figure, I don't want to deal with that guy in the middle because I got to think. A lot of women today and in yesteryear aren't logical. Now, I didn't say all, but I said a number of them. So when you are in a position as a woman to where a man is going to actually require something from you, you don't want to go in that direction. You're always going to conflict with that guy. Because at the end, you really don't want that guy. You don't want to do any work at all. You want to, on one hand, be in control, and on the other hand, reap the benefits of somebody else's success. And if you don't believe me, look what's going on. Look at Janet Jackson. She's successful herself, but she hasn't made top records in a long time. Well, she gets a divorce from a guy, and now she's going to reap his benefits. And she's already been married a couple of times to guys who had money. You look at the tennis player. She married a guy who's making much less money than he's making, or than she's making. And guess what? She's still with that guy, and she can control that guy. Because that's basically what a number of women want. They either want to reap the benefits or be in control. Now, is that a woman's fault? No, that's not a woman's fault. What has happened, society programs men and women differently. And as men, we have to learn to see that and understand that we're not being rejected because we're lame and square. We're being rejected because that woman doesn't want to have anything to do with a man who is successful, who is equally yoked to her. You hear a number of women say, well, he's not on my level. Of course, you don't want guys on your level as women. You want guys to either follow you or you want to benefit off of a guy who has more than you. And at the end of the day, you as a woman, you end up being smash and dash material because your relationships are either going to be short term, because there's going to be some sex involved, because there is no way that you're going to get with a guy and you're not giving it up, because you are. But you don't want to give it up to the so-called lame guy, because in your eyes, he's boring. No, it's not that he's boring. It's just that that guy is going to require something of you. And again, this is not all women, but when it comes to a lot of the Western women are basically followers, and they have a belief system based off of what they see in the entertainment industry. If you don't believe me, look what's going on in the black community with the rappers. You know, because some of these men don't have aspirations to be doctors, lawyers, and engineers. They want to be rappers and ball players. Why? Because these guys, they get women. But when it comes to guys, women don't want the guys in the middle, again, because they must bring something to the table. In fact, the guys in the middle are a little bit more diverse. See, women either want the alpha or they want the beta male. It's control versus manipulation, which basically manipulation is also a way of control if you think about it when it comes to trying to obtain resources for her benefit. A lot of guys don't think like that. And see, when you're in the middle and you see what's going on with everything, you can have an easier time if you are really thinking to see what kind of game this woman is playing. But too many guys lack confidence in the middle because they listen to the okie doke that women tell them. Listen, if you're the guy who's the everyday guy and you're looking for a relationship, you have to find somebody who's equally yoked. A lot of these women don't have the mind to be equally yoked. Now, some of you women aren't going to like this video, but I'm telling the truth. And this has happened since the 1960s and roughly before. Because I guarantee if I could dig some of my grandfathers out of the grave, they would tell me the same thing. I know my dad has told me the same thing. That when he was coming up, certainly there were more women who were married, but women were basically attracted to the bad boys. And then they were attracted to the successful guys. So when you're in the middle, you must understand when it comes to dating, you're not lame or square. Some of you are. But women don't want the guy also. Here's the big key. They really want a guy who's an alpha and a beta male. And you don't find that in the middle. There's too many different personalities in the middle that they have to look for. And a number of women don't want to think. Because if they think, then they're going to be rejected. And a number of women do not like to be rejected. Of course, in this day and age where they live in this artificial society to where they believe they have all the power. They don't have any power. What they have is what the government gives them. But at the end of the day, when you're in the middle, you're always going to be strapped by the 80-20 rule. And that's the majority of men. But it doesn't make you bad men. But you just have to understand that society programs men and women differently. And the women going after the bad guys, or they're going after the top guys, at the end of the day, they're all sleazy. Because the only thing they got is either the money or the so-called swag. Many of them are alpha and beta males. And that's why a number of women, when it comes to picking a guy, only have two options. And if you don't believe what I'm saying or agree with what I'm saying, check it out for yourself. Because the real world and all the information that you get via television and radio and your own observation will tell you. So guys, being affected by the 80-20 rule is going to put in the eyes of today's women and yesterday's women, we're going to be considered lame or educated lame. Now some of us are, but some of us aren't. But when you put everything together, the reason why 80% of the women want 20% of the guys is because these 80% of the women don't have anything to bring to the table themselves, and they can easily manipulate the guys on either side of the spectrum. They want power and control through the confiscation of his resources and the lack of resources that the bad boy has. So at the end of the day, the guy in the middle is always going to be a threat to her artificial power. And another thing, with that being said, she's the kind of woman who's always going to have short-term relationships. And short-term relationships can be sexual, known as smash and dash, and she's going to be in and out of relationships. And she may never be stable in her mind, because a number of women aren't logical anyway. They think on emotion. But again, I'm not talking about all women, so if you come thumb this video down, that means you really didn't listen to the information. What I'm trying to convey here, men and women, is why the man in the middle gets trapped via the 80-20 rule. Because in actuality, like I said before, many men are working men. We don't have the resources of a Donald Trump. Or at the bottom, he has resources as well, because he can be a bad boy and He has resources. I'm talking about Jay-Z. We don't have that kind of money. So we have to follow through the system by either getting a trade or going to college to obtain a profession. But again, women don't want guys like that because they must bring something to the table. And of course, guys like me are going to vet women who don't bring anything from the table. And of course, you must understand too that a number of women who want 20% of the guys live in fantasy land. They want to be like the actors they see on television. This is why they portray some of these attitudes of housewives in Atlanta, housewives in LA. You must remember, women are basically utilized for marketing. And some of these women want to be like the women in these rap videos, or they want to be like the women who were around Hugh Hefner. But at the end of the day, when you are the middleman, the women who want 20% of the guys cannot control or manipulate you. And that is a number of women's objectives. It's power and control through the rich man and the broke man. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for this morning, Saturday, January 6, 2018. You can tune in to the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest calling number is 215-383-5785. And if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, of course, on this channel, I don't engage in controversy, emotional issues, or debates, nor do I participate in drama and or unnecessary bickering because it is counterproductive / a waste of time. What I'm doing is giving you the information, and I'm teaching you from not just my perspective, but from the information that I've researched for you on how to understand the real world, because the real world is complicated, especially when it comes to relationships. And once you have the knowledge, you have the power. And if you are looking to become a new YouTuber, or you're building your own business, and you have a topic that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, simply email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering, if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed day.